This is Rufus Butler Seder. I'm the director and co-writer of Screamplay. I also acted in it. I'm 52 years old at the recording of this session, and I made this movie 20 years ago. Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Hertz. Who are these guys, and what did they have to do with the making of this movie? Absolutely nothing. Did you know that to make the shadow get bigger, we actually had to have the actor throwing the shadow walk backward away from Edgar instead of toward him?
Just a quick note.
Edgar starts typing the letter to Al as soon as the killer enters. So, of course, the whole conceit of the film is that Edgar has time to write the entire story of the movie to Al Wiener in the space of time it takes the killer to get to him from behind. I thought this was so absurd no one would ever buy it. But I guess that the flashback has become such a standard convention that no one even gives it a second thought nowadays. When you think about it, it's certainly nowhere as absurd as having the dead guy in the swimming pool narrate Sunset Boulevard. Movies are great.
A big break is coming. Don't leave me now. Excuse me. That's okay.
During the Boston premiere, the guy playing the bus driver, a real bus driver in real life, brought his family to the show. Afterwards, he made a big stink because we forgot to put his name in the credits, thus humiliating him in front of his family. How was I to know that his 10 seconds on screen was his finest hour?
You're a big dreamer, Bubby Dad!
That's right. That's absolutely right. I am a big dreamer. He used to love my dreams.
Oh, Al, if you would just swallow your pride for once. Go to your brother and ask him for help. Ask him for a job. Anything.
I would ask my brother for help if my life depended on it. Harriet!
That's Dennis Piana, his wife Robbie and their kid Max at the bar. Dennis was my movie-making partner, and he produced the film and did the cinematography. The waitress in this scene is played by Johanna Wagner, but she could only see out of one eye as it turned out. Things went fine with her until the scene where Edgar puts the pie cutter in her eye. She refused to do that part, so Katie Bolger stepped in for her.
It's $1.
$1 for a cup of coffee?
It's $1 minimum.
Well then, I think I'll have a piece of pie too.
Now, what kind of pie would you like?
That coconut cream looks very good. What about, do you have deep dish boysenberry?
Will you make up your mind, you creepy little jerk?
Coconut cream.
It's not funny.
me a couple Alka-Seltzers, a glass of water, a cup of coffee, strong and black.
Interior. Bus terminal coffee shop. Night. Closing time. The waitress is cutting a coconut cream pie. Quietly, the door opens. The killer enters.
You can see that's Katie with pie on her face, instead of Johanna. By the way, we used Hershey's chocolate syrup for the blood in this movie, just like Hitchcock did in Psycho. We went through gallons of the stuff on this shoot.
Hey, that's very nice. Thank you. Alwina. Edgar.
That's my dad playing Al Wiener. Pretty good acting.
Not yet.
Who knew?
I hope to be one soon.
I think he played Caliban in his college production of The Tempest. By the way, my dad's the guy who started me on filmmaking. He was a news reporter and a photographer and sometimes did movie news clips for the TV stations. He loaned me his Bolex when I was 12 and taught me how to make animated cartoons. I can blame him for egging me on to build the front projection system that gave Screamplay its look.
Clever. You are a talented kid. Looking for an agent?
An agent? What for?
What for an agent? You starry-eyed kids slay me.
Get it?
Slay me. Say, you got a place to stay?
No, I'd like to walk around for a while. And then maybe...
I understand. Just sort of look the town over. Believe me, it's a great town. Anything can happen at any time. Find yourself a place to stay. Bang out a script. Give me a call. Maybe we can help each other out.
Swell, I'll do that.
Thank you. Keep your hopes up, Edgar. No matter what happens, dreams do come true. Damn it.
Hollywood!
Although the city is actually Hollywood projected behind Edgar, the shots of his feet were done in our studio. I think artist Cheryl Hirschman made the stars and the sidewalk. Cheryl's a talented painter. She did the poster for Screenplay, the one with Edgar at the typewriter and the giant hands coming at him from behind. She did a lot of design work on the film and helped me with some of the matte paintings, too. Old silent movies are public domain, so we didn't have to pay for these clips, which I probably printed myself from the local library's movie collection. This is one scene we didn't shoot entirely in my loft. The room with the urinals is in the Boston Museum School basement, and it kind of stunk. I advise aspiring filmmakers to avoid shooting in any real public restroom for this reason.
Ciao, baby.
However, the toilet stall area was a set in our studio.
What's this, a bunch of singles? Less than $50. It's all I've got.
You bastard. You've got to do better than that. I need more.
There isn't any. I'm just a poor screenwriter.
Then kiss your ass goodbye, Wonder Boy.
I don't think the transvestite is convincing. It's probably my fault in casting. But I like the way this murder happens.
She's dead.
It doesn't matter. This whole town's a garbage can full of maggots and flies. You gotta swat a couple now and again just to keep them in line.
Police, open up! Police, open up!
Come on! You don't want to get caught in this mess! Forget about the money! There's no time!
Police! Police! Open up! Police! Open up! Police! Halt!
Oh, you're fired, Tony. What did you see?
Not a thing, Joe.
Then why did you shoot?
George Cordero and Basil Bova were inseparable on and off the screen. George is the short one.
Well, let's see what we got.
They composed and performed the music track for the movie as well as playing Blatz and Cassano. Seeing the movie now, I gotta say that I think George is the best actor in the whole show. He's got it. That limp isn't acting, though. I think he had polio as a child. But what a natural performance.
No witness.
George taught composition at the Berklee School of Music, and that's where he met Basil. On the track, George plays the alto sax, the clarinet, and other instruments, and Basil plays piano.
Year after year, we get our faces rubbed in it. Sick, senseless murders, unrelated clues. And what do we get for it?
Public disrespect.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a cop. What a joke. Sam Spade, Phil Marlowe, Joe Friday, all lies. Real life is one pain in the ass.
Joe! I found something.
Yeah. Interior bus terminal coffee shop. Night.
What's it mean, Joe?
I don't know. Something to go on. Maybe.
By the way, that's strawberry jelly in the toilet. I think that was designer Cheryl Hirschman's idea. This is the cursed film that pretty much ended my 20-year filmmaking career. I was 32 years old when I finished it, and I'd been making movies, some of them award-winning shorts, since I was 12. We made Screamplay in 1984 for a budget of $47,000, all funded by friends and family. It started out as a $25,000 budget, but after our villain, George Kuchar, broke his uninsured ankle on the set to the tune of $11,000, we upped the budget in part to cover the cost of his medical bill. I think I put in $7,000 of my own money, which was all I had at the time. Katie Bolger's father put in $11,000. Animator Flip Johnson's family put in a big chunk, and my parents did too. And all the other people involved in making the movie chipped in what they could. Although the film was eventually sold to German television and enjoyed some popularity on the underground circuit in Europe, none of us ever made back a dime. Any money that came in went to Troma.
Animals. Sleep it off. I'll have something for you to do in the morning. Oh, one more thing. For your own protection, don't get involved with any of the tenants. It's bad for you and it's bad for me. I don't want my custodian turning into an animal like everybody else.
Don't worry. Writers are very solitary sorts of people.
Flip Johnson figured out how to get the swimming pool to look realistic. We cut a hole in the pool area of the matte painting and positioned a piece of plexiglass on a bed of foam rubber between it and the set. While we were shooting, we rocked the plexiglass up and down. My loft studio was only 11 feet high. This posed a problem when we needed a wide shot of the apartment complex with people on more than one level. We solved it by first filming the action taking place on one level, then front projecting it into that area of the matte painting while we simultaneously shot the other level of action live through the other area. This was George Kuchar's first day on our set, and he spit on it. It kind of shocked me at first, but I loved it. That's improvisation at its finest, don't you think?
Did this bad man disturb your breakfast?
I've, come to collect the rent.
Martin, you horny son of a bitch.
You like it as much as I do.
It's time for Holly's acting lesson. Besides, you never fixed my bathtub.
Screw the bathtub.
That's all you'll be screwing unless the tub gets fixed.
Okay. I'll send a new custodian up to fix it.
New custodian, is he pretty?
settle down. He's just a kid. Says he's a writer.
How do I look, Nina?
You look pretty, Holly.
Oh, do you really think so?
I've never seen a dress like that before.
Oh, we're studying Chekhov. The Seagull. It's a play.
Oh, I should read that, I guess.
Go inside and prepare.
Come on, Rocky.
Keep your mitts off her. She's just a baby.
Everybody's got to grow up sometime. I'll be back in an hour.
Don't forget my bathtub. Hot stuff.
Time to get to work. Take your tools and get up to 3B. That icy bitch has got a leaky faucet. And make it quick.
This is no place for good souls. Hollywood is the land of the doomed. Those who come to live here die. Go back, brother, I beg you. 1,000 avenging angels of the Lord will destroy you with their flaming swords.
I've come to fix the faucet.
What was I saying?
See how dark this scene looks? Again, that was our first day of shooting, and Dennis Piana didn't know his light meter was off 2 stops. And since we were shooting black and white reversal film, there was no detail in the dark shadow areas to bring up during printing afterwards. I guess our schedule didn't permit us to go back and reshoot the scene. Why did we use reversal? Because I was in love with the stuff, having processed and printed all my earlier black and white films in reversal myself. You can do a lot of neat multiple superimposition stuff in the printer with reversal that you just can't do with negative film. Negative film shows too many white dust spots. Anyway, after a day or two, Dennis figured out how to second-guess his light meter, and he pretty much got it right from that point on.
When I become a great actress, come and see me.
I stole Edgar's twitchy-looking back-and-forth bit from the actor in The Andalusian Dog, Louis Buñuel and Salvador Dali's surrealist movie. That was my favorite movie for years. I had a bootlegged copy of it. I had written the film in 1976 with Ed Greenberg, an actor I'd met when I was a film directing fellow at the American Film Institute in Beverly Hills. Film aficionados may remember him as the blonde, long-haired hippie professor in the movie Billy Jack, or they may not. At the time, splatter films were big in Hollywood, and our goal was to sell the script as a conventional color movie with me as the director and Ed as Edgar. We originally titled the script The Killer Enters, then we called it Death City. But nobody liked the title with the word death in it. We shopped the script around Hollywood and got some nibbles, but no bites. It was 6 or 7 years later, after I'd returned to Boston and made a number of experimental silent movies, that I resurrected the script as Screamplay. Ed was a great writing partner, and I'd have to say that he's responsible for most of the good dialogue in the script. Ed is still rattling around Hollywood. He ran an LA-based improv group for a while that boasted a bunch of young actors who became stars and directors, like Shelley Long, Ed Begley, Betty Thomas from Hill Street Blues, who went on to direct the Brady Bunch films, and a lot of others. I'm not sure what he's up to now, but I'm sure he's still in Hollywood.
You don't have to feel so threatened.
So what do you think, Nikki? We'll take a lunch on it sometime. Sometime.
Hey, Clyde, break it up!
Rocky! Come inside.
Did you ever see Bad Girls of Borneo?
The character of Nina Ray is loosely based on Nina Foch, an old Hollywood actress whom I had the misfortune of having as a directing teacher when I was at the AFI. You might remember her as the rich patron of Gene Kelly in An American in Paris. Nina Foch hated me, and I don't know why to this day. Maybe because I questioned whether she was really teaching a class in acting rather than directing. I was cocky back then. As an experienced actress, Nina was versed in human behavior and how to provoke reactions out of an audience. So during my student review before the staff at the end of the semester, she provoked me to blurt out that I thought the American Film Institute aspired to mediocrity. And of course, they showed me the door. In our script, Ed Greenberg originally had named her dog Fochette. But in 1976, when he learned about a new movie being made at the time with Sylvester Stallone, he changed the name of the dog to Rocky. Maybe he knew Sly personally. I don't know.
What a grand idea! Did you mean what you said, Edgar? About me being pretty and kissing you?
You were the only decent thing in the whole movie.
What about now, Edgar? Am I still...
You're still very young looking.
No, I'm not. But I will be. Little hinge job here, pull the eyes back, raise the forehead. Put these tits back where they belong. These were the hottest tits in Hollywood. The giants of the industry were slobbering over these tits. And they didn't stop there. I fucked some biggies to get where I am today. I fucked Barrymore. I fucked Beery. I fucked Karloff.
You fucked Karloff?
I fucked them all!
Linda Robinson was a friend of Katie's. Linda was the sister of David Robinson, the drummer for the band The Cars. She really was a pro, always knew her lines and gave an impeccable performance. I particularly enjoyed doing the scene with her in the bathtub. During the 6 years between writing and making Screamplay, after graduating from the Boston School of the Museum of Fine Arts, and inspired by the Gestalt film teachings of montage specialist Slavko Vorkovich, I caught his lectures during my brief stint at the AFI just before he died. I started a filmmaking group with Dennis Piana called the Boston Black and White Movie Company. We wrote, directed, processed, printed, and showed our own short, silent 16mm black and white films, along with live musical accompaniment around Boston. Animator Flip Johnson was in the group, filmmaker Ed Callahan, artist Cheryl Hirschman, and the music was composed and performed by Berklee School of Music musicians George Cordero and Basil Bova. You'll not only see all of these people in the movie, but they all contributed their considerable talents to the making of Screamplay.
I fixed the faucet. You really get into your work, don't you?
Anything else?
Yeah, a couple of questions. Sergeant Joe Blatz, LAPD, Homicide Division. This is my partner, Tony Casson. This look familiar to you?
No.
Take a closer look. The scene from a movie, and you're the star, baby.
Yeah. This must have been written by that creepy little jerk who was in here the other night.
Can you tell us what he looked like?
Weird. Black coat, black gloves. Sets his typewriter down on my counter. Starts staring at me with those eyes and starts typing.
Any distinguishing features, scar, tattoo, anything like that?
No. Just those freaky little eyes staring at me. All day, all night, all I deal with is creeps and crazies.
Creeps, crazies, killers.
After my short films won some awards and grants, I decided I was ready for the big time, and in 1980 I threw a big going-away party for myself in Boston and returned to Hollywood to seek fame and fortune. But after 2 years of suffering in LA, I realized that my style of movie making wasn't going to find me a directing job there, so I decided to return to Boston and make my own damn movie.
Her spoiled dog reclines on the living room sofa. On the balcony, a gloved hand crushes the porch light.
Ouch! Flip Johnson did the bulb breaking here, not me. Don't try this at home unless you're wearing a leather glove inside a leather glove inside another glove.
Rocky, what is it, sweetheart?
I wasn't nuts about the screenplay script Ed Greenberg and I had written, but it was the only script I had in hand. So, as soon as I got back to Boston, I hammered together 3 walls, 2 with windows, 1 with a door, built a set of stairs leading nowhere, perhaps a precursor of what was to come. And then I photographed these set pieces from different angles and used the photos to create a 4-foot square matte painting of the courtyard of the Welcome Apartments. Then I went out and dragged in all my old friends and filmmaking buddies and said, look, this is all we need to make this movie. Are you in? And I dragged everyone back into working with me again. I was driven. I was so pissed off and frustrated with Hollywood that I was determined to make this movie, to build the sets for it, to make the matte paintings, even to act in it, to show them all. I even convinced myself that the movie could be made in black and white in the style of my silent films. Oh boy.
Oh, the kid from the pie shop. Listen, Edgar, you call me at a very bad time.
I just wanted you to be the first to know, Mr. Wiener. I have started work on my screenplay. I think it shows me to my best advantage as a writer. It deals with the traditional disparity between good and evil, and it's set in a rundown apartment complex in Hollywood. A young man...
Listen, Edgar, I haven't got time to hear your whole story now. I'm on my way to a very important meeting.
I understand, Mr. Wiener. I will keep you posted on my progress. Should you wish to contact me, I'm at the Welcome Apartments in Hollywood.
Yeah, fine. Bye.
That movie starlet there is Catherine, who was my girlfriend at the time. You get the pretty ones when you're an independent filmmaker. You don't really have to be a success, either. The secretary is played by Mijo Johnson. Everybody loved Mijo.
Yes?
He was a playwright, a director, a violinist, and the most lovable freeloader in the world.
I don't need an appointment. I'm his brother, Al. Albert Wiener.
Mr. Wiener is in conference and on a phone call to New York.
You let him stay at your house because he laughed at all your jokes, talked about his conversations with famous people like James Baldwin, and he could whip up a fancy dinner for you just like that, even if you had almost nothing around to eat on the shelves. He died of AIDS.
I am a seagull. No, that's not it. I'm an actress.
Katie Bolger was an old friend of mine from my first student days in Boston. Watching the film now, I can see that she really was a pretty good actress. We modeled her look after Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz. Katie's now married to a screenwriter in New York and has a kid. Oh my God, she married a screenwriter.
Very good.
But at the same time we made the film, she was going out with Peter Wolf from the J. Giles Band, and after Screenplay, she got me a job directing a video for J. Giles, which turned into a fiasco because the band was breaking up.
You felt anger, and that's what made it work.
Well, you certainly seem to know a lot about acting for a...
I'm a writer. I write murder movies.
Ooh, murder movies gross me out.
They scare you. They force you to face a part of yourself that you're unwilling to acknowledge, and that's what holds you back as an actress.
Oh, no, Nina said my strength as an actress is in my innocent quality.
You'll never be a complete person.
What am I supposed to do?
Break through your innocence. Let yourself go. Whenever you feel passion of any kind, hatred, jealousy, lust, even the urge to kill, that's what I use in my writing. Latch onto it. Ride it like the crest of a wave. Let the undertow pull you down to your depths. At first, you'll be terrified and disgusted with what you find. But when you face your despair, your vulgarity, your depravity, and learn to bring it all to the surface, that's when you'll be a great actress.
I told you to go back. Already the flames of lust are licking at your soul. The bitch goddess Holly has but one lover, the demon Success. Come up with me to my shrine. Repent. The strength of God will pull you away from that road which surely leads to hell.
Excuse me, Lot. I have to go now. I need to sleep. Thanks for the service.
I see it!
What?
The end! It is closer than I thought! Give thanks to the gods of Ganja. Toke up, brother, there isn't much time.
Lot was played by Bob White, an animation teacher at Simmons College. You have to hand it to him. Simmons, a girls' school, as straight a school as you can get. But Bob, long hair, beard, and all, got tenure there. His character, Lot, is based on some kind of surfer burnout Ed Greenberg, my co-writer, knew. The character's name was originally going to be Ricky Hobie.
The hands of a sinner.
No!
Murder! Your hands are the hands of a killer!
Yes, to a degree they are, but I'm not actually capable of killing anyone. I think.
Yes, you are! Sins of the mind and sins of the body are as one. Evil will consume you, and you will commit murder.
Lot, you're stoned.
Ha! Your hands are tools of death. They must be purged. We'll start with this one. If thy right eye offended thee, pluck it out. If thy right hand offended thee, burn it off. Casting out, I cast you out. Out, Satan, leave this sinner in peace. Yeah! Thank you, Lord. One more sinner purged of evil.
interior. The burnt-out rock star's apartment, night. The killer enters.
Of course, we're pouring water on Bob's head here, but we found that rubber cement caught fire nicely, and that's what we used to make these trails of fire.
Hopes and dreams. The city has given me everything it has to offer. My movie's gonna be a tribute to this town, filled with the joy that my success has brought me. And babe, I want you to share it with me.
Sometimes we just projected slides I'd taken in Hollywood behind the actors, and sometimes we projected straight film, like footage shot out of the side or back of a moving car. But more often than not, we projected footage that already contained a good deal of special effects, like the scene where Nikki Blair and Holly stand on the hillside looking down at Hollywood at night. Here I took a slide of LA at night and superimposed a number of hand-manipulated arc beams over it. Those were actually cut out V's in black paper, which I held over a light table and rocked from side to side. And I guess they looked like it.
You're a great actress.
By the way, that's not an earthquake that makes the background jump up and down. It's a side effect of bad registration of the 16mm sprockets in my Model J printer when I printed the two scenes together. I did a lot of that kind of printing during the shoot, often late at night after a full day of filming. I had converted the abandoned elevator shaft in our studio into a printing room. Anyway, we had to dub that scene between Nikki and Holly because the interlock system made such a racket.
Sure.
Front projection was first used by Stanley Kubrick in the opening scenes of his movie 2001. Front projection involves hanging a retro-reflective screen behind the actors that throws all the light projected on it right back to its source, and a beam splitter, really a fancy word for a two-way mirror, at the other end of the studio that the camera shoots through. The beam splitter is positioned at a 45-degree angle, and the projector showing the pre-filmed stuff is set near the camera, but it's aimed at the beam splitter, so the image bounces off the mirror and onto the screen behind the actors. Because the camera is positioned 90 degrees away from the projector and it's aimed directly at the screen through the same beam splitter, what you see through the lens is a very bright image being projected. But no one else on the set can see anything on the screen because it's retro-reflective and all that projected light is bouncing directly back to the projector and camera lenses. So bright is this apparent image in the camera lens that if actors, who of course are not made of reflective material, stand in front of the screen, they look like pitch black silhouettes. So then, when you light the actors with theater lights from oblique angles, lo and behold, in the camera, it looks just like these well-lit actors are standing in front of a projected image. Everything has to be lined up just perfectly so the actors' shadows are directly behind them, or else you get a dark fringing around them. We got pretty good at lining up front projection shots, even better than some real Hollywood films that I've seen that used front projection. Now, every splatter movie should have an obligatory nude scene, and this was it. During our Boston premiere, I was told that Katie's father, who, as I mentioned before, was one of our larger bankrollers, had the urge to leave the theater just before the top came off. I wonder why. Using the front projection system, getting the movie camera to sync up with the projected image was a trickier bit of business, and I asked my father, Gus Seder, to help out. In addition to being a writer and a photographer, my dad is an inventor too. He figured out a way to disassemble an old Bell & Howell 16mm Army projector and to rebuild it with an array of magnet switches triggered by the one frame per revolution knob in the front of the projector. He then linked the signal up to my electric 16mm Bolex camera so that during filming, the projector talked to the camera so they would both be in sync together. It was a funky arrangement, and it always took a few seconds for both machines to sync up at the start of a take, wasting lots of film, but it worked. And that's what ended up contributing most of the look to the movie.
Years will have gone by and you won't have sold a thing. You end up working at some greasy hamburger stand in the valley. I know, Edgar. I've seen it happen too many times. Talent just isn't enough. But it doesn't have to be that way for you. Not if you know the right person. A person you can trust. Come on, let me see your script. Come on, what do you got to lose? Well, I think it's a damn good script. Sure, it needs a little work, but all the elements are there. A little sex and a lot of violence. I think we're on the right track, Edgar. Here, give me those. What we need to figure out now is some way to hype it. Some way to give it that extra something special. Go with this for a minute. You.
Ed Callahan was a talented independent filmmaker in his own right and had starred in a number of his own movies, so he felt pretty comfortable in front of the camera, I think. Ed ended up moving out to Hollywood and became a union sound editor, figuring that that would be his meal ticket to bigger and better things like writing and directing.
Those eyes, that sickly-looking face. You look like a murderer. They'll have nightmares about you. We'll be millionaires, Edgar. Well, I see what you're going for, but I don't know if I like the idea of the world relating to me as some kind of a sideshow freak. None of that matters, Edgar. The important thing is to sell the product. Let the chips fall where they may, so long as there's lots of chips. No, I don't like it. You'll be sorry, Edgar. I saw that agent hang up on you today. I'm your last chance. Give me my script. We can help each other, Edgar. You blow it for both of us. Give me my script. Your script, you ingrate. Without me, your script is nothing. It's garbage.
Interior, Kleindorf's kitchen, night. Kleindorf is preparing a midnight snack.
Go away!
You're supposed to be working.
I am working. Now leave me alone. Please.
I'm warning you, Edgar. I got enough trouble without you starting up on me, too. Get to work.
This is the big special effects scene coming up in the movie. It combines a lot of front projection with scale models and hand-drawn animation. First, you've got the shots of Nicky on his motorcycle with the projected background. His scarf is being pulled by a string to make it look like he's going fast. Then you see the model truck being moved in front of a projected slide, which I took in Hollywood. And if you look fast, you'll see a wide shot of both models, Nicky's motorcycle speeding toward the truck. We pulled that motorcycle along with a stick running through a slot beneath the floor. And the last shot, where Nicky hits the truck, was, in its final stages, a series of 8x10 black and white glossies that Flip Johnson reanimated frame by frame using his patented ink stipple technique to create the blood splat. By the way, you might not have noticed it, but for added realism in that shot, as we zoomed the camera tight in toward the side of the model truck, we simultaneously zoomed the projected background backwards, making it wider so it would remain relatively the same size in the shot. That way it looks like you're really coming at the truck. By the way, that was George improvising when he mauls Katie's breasts. You gotta love it. have another old friend from my American Film Institute days, Karel Struycken, a very tall Dutch filmmaker and an actor, now living in Pasadena. You'd know him as Lurch in the Addams Family movie series or as Gene Roddenberry's wife's assistant on one of the Star Trek TV shows. He put his finger on the single greatest achievement of Screamplay. That was that the movie somehow succeeded in convincing the viewer that it was actually taking place in a Hollywood apartment building, when in fact the whole film was shot in a 20-foot by 40-foot studio we'd built in my South Boston loft. Well, almost the whole film. A couple of scenes were filmed elsewhere, like the ones involving buses and cars, which were shot outdoors in Boston. And, of course, the very last shot of the movie where Al Wiener and Edgar drive up the street toward the Hollywood sign on the hill. Otherwise, through exhaustive planning and storyboarding, we were able to create the sense of the Welcome Apartments as a three-dimensional place, simply by rearranging our three walls, our stairway, and seamlessly editing the actions in those shots to other shots of matte paintings from projections and everything all together.
Dump the trash.
I'll do it later.
I said dump the trash.
And I said I'll do it later.
Wait a minute. Let's get one thing straight right now. When you came here, we made an agreement. You're on call 24 hours.
In spite of much of the acting, including my own and the technical flaws, of which there are more than a lot in this film, I think Screamplay is a lot of fun. But I have to say that in my view, it doesn't work so well, and that's because of a problem in the story structure. What you've got here is basically a whodunit. Someone's killing people, and we have to find out who. Well, although we get to see Edgar visualize the murders he writes, the actual murders don't actually start happening until halfway through the movie. Now, that's a serious mistake in storytelling, because that's the hook that actually ends Act 1. It keeps the audience in their seats once it happens. Audience will generally give you 10 to 15 minutes to hook them, but if you don't do it in time, they walk out, either physically or mentally. Now, this was evidenced when Troma showed the film in the market at Cannes. I was there. And the distributors wander freely from theater to theater looking for movies to buy. But during the screening of Screamplay, I watched fully half the audience get up and walk out of the theater during the first half of the movie. But the minute that the script gets stolen and the first murder happens, everybody stayed put in that theater. If there had been a way to structure the movie so that the first mysterious murder happened at the end of Act 1, 15 or 20 minutes into the movie, I think Screamplay would have worked a lot better. And I think that when a movie works, the audience is so caught up in it that they might not notice, or at least not take exception to, little things like occasional bad acting, underexposed shots, or shaky front projection. I kind of missed the boat on that one.
Okay, hand it over.
Hand what over, dipshit?
You know what I'm talking about. My script. Hand it over. No, Holly.
What are you doing to her? Get out! Get out! Ah! Oh!
You want some more? Ah! Oh, I'm sorry! Don't look at me that way!
It's no good.
Where are you going?
To the bus station. I'm going home.
So you're the incomplete person. The one who can't face the darkness, can't take the evil. Go ahead, Edgar. Walk out on every...
When I attended the American Film Institute in Beverly Hills, I actually stayed in a complex in Hollywood called the Welcome Apartments, and that's how it got its name in the movie. There actually was a manager named Martin, but I think he was Belgium. And downstairs, there was a girl much like Holly, only a little mousier. I was in her apartment once, and her paneled walls were sticky. She had an animation cell on the wall from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which is why we put that poster on the wall of Holly's bedroom.
3B's bulb is broken. Go and fix it.
By the way, no animals were harmed during the filming of this movie. I think our prop masters, Robbie Murphy and Catherine Shaddix, made this prop dog, and we stuck those plastic Halloween teeth in its mouth to make it look real. I stole this scene from the Cary Grant Audrey Hepburn movie Charade, where they find one of the gangsters dead in a bathtub. But it's particularly hard to lay underwater. Not only keeping your eyes open is hard, but keeping your nostrils shut. Water goes up your nose and gives you serious brain burn. I think we ended sticking earplugs up Linda's nose. She never complained. She was a professional.
Male, 45. 6 Mary 2, standby information incomplete.
She was a big movie star, Sarge.
She's all washed up now. Take her away, boys.
13T62, Roger, William, 6 Paul, John Zebra.
Don't I know you?
No.
You wouldn't mind stepping over here? It looks like Nina Ray was murdered. Which one of you knew her best?
I was your acting student.
Oh, you're an actress.
Yes.
A good one?
I'm limited.
Did Nina tell you that?
Well, she pointed out a lot of my limitations. That was her job.
But you didn't resent her for that, did you?
No, I loved her. She was my best friend.
You didn't love Nina. You hated her. You hated her because she told you you weren't good enough to make it.
That's right, and then you killed her.
No! I loved her. I loved her more than anyone.
I think you're barking up the wrong tree, Sergeant. Nina picked up a lot of guys on the boulevard. They were floating in and out of here all the time.
Do you know anyone that might have wanted to kill her?
The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. She was doomed from the start, just as you all are doomed.
Is that a confession?
It was not me. Nina Ray was killed by a messenger of the devil, by the hands of a killer, by Edgar Allen.
No! Edgar's innocent. He's not a killer. He's an artist. Well, sure he has the urge to kill, just like all of us. But he doesn't kill. He writes.
What do you write?
Murder movies.
Tony, let me see that piece of paper we found next to the dead roller skater at the movie theater. Does this look familiar to you?
No.
Do you own a black coat and gloves?
Sergeant Blatz?
Yeah.
Edgar couldn't have killed Nina. He spent all of last night with me.
Looks to me like you've hit a dead end if you're looking for a murder suspect, Sergeant. It's my guess that Nina killed herself. She had nothing to live for anyway. That mutt was eating her at her house and home. It was either that or, well, like I said, it was some creep off the street she picked up.
Go away. I'm busy. Get out. I don't want you in here.
Edgar, You're smarter than I thought you were. You've finally done it. You've come up with a gimmick of the century. Now your script will sell like hotcakes.
I don't want anything to do with you or your rancid schemes.
Oh, Edgar, can't we let bygones be bygones? Listen, you're off to a crackerjack start. You wrote the script, you bumped off the dog, you bumped off Nina. Now all you have to do is knock off Lot, tack an ending on the script, and leave the rest to me. When I get hold of...
You're on the wrong track, Kleindorf. Somebody else killed Nina Ray, not me.
That's not the point. Listen, you wrote the script. The murders are committed exactly the way you wrote them. The public, hungry for blood, reads about it in the newspapers, hears about it on television. Then we spring the movie on them. The public goes to see it in droves. We make millions, but only if we cooperate with one another. I provide the mass media coverage, you kill Lot.
You're a sick man, Kleindorf. Get out of here.
Think about it.
Appointment to
Mr. Wieners! It's good to see you! Oh, he's been waiting for you. Please go right in. Go.
Come over here. I want to take a good look at you.
Oh, wow.
It's been a long time.
Couple of years.
You don't look too good. You should have stuck with me. We could have cooked up some sweet deals together.
Yeah, well, sometimes a guy's got to try life on his own.
Cigar? How's Harriet and the kid?
I sent them on a little vacation.
Is everything all right between you two? Al, are you broke again?
I didn't want to come to you. I told her that, so she left me. That's the only reason I'm here. The only reason. If it wasn't for Harriet, I'd rather starve to death than ask you for help. I got pride. I got integrity. I want you to know that.
Well, who knows better than your own brother? Calm down. Sit down. Al.
This is Bob Wilson. He's a friend of my dad's and an independent filmmaker in his own right, kind of a Sam Fuller kind of a director. My dad played a political prisoner in one of his video plays, and when I was 12, Bob Wilson cast me as a murderous, gun-slinging cowboy in his 20-minute film Fast Guns. I get machine-gunned to death by adult cops at the end of it.
A lot of blood, too. If you can find me a good script for, say, under 100 G's, not a penny more, bring it around, and I'll see what I can do.
100 grand for a class picture? That's highway robbery.
You don't want it?
Okay, Herb, okay. You won't be sorry. I'll get you a damn good property.
Get out of here and call me Wednesday.
Classy and bloody. Classy and bloody. Where am I going to get something classy and bloody?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome. Welcome Apartments. Let me use your phone.
Stop it! Stop it!
What?
What are you off to in such a hurry?
Let go!
Where do you think you're going? You dirty little... Say uncle, asshole! Cut it!
The fire doesn't look too real, does it? At least we got to spend a hot summer's day in Lincoln, Massachusetts, filming in someone's swimming pool. We put checkered pieces of masonite around the edge of the pool to tie it in to the look of the Welcome Apartments courtyard.
truly upon us. I see the face of the sinner who has brought the end. Now, do you believe me?
This is Al Wiener. Let me talk to...
Channel 5, give me the action hotline.
Play more where that came from.
Okay, boys, get those cameras ready. Here they come. This is the head of investigation, Sergeant Joe Blatz, LAPD.
What was that name again?
Blatz. B-L-A-T-Z.
How about your scoop, Sergeant?
I can't say anything at the present time.
Come on, Blatz, what's it all about?
Was it a ritual murder?
A suicide?
It's definitely a murder.
That's 2 murders in 2 days. Nina Ray was the B movie star, right?
Yes, that's right.
Any clues as to who the killer
may be? Like I said, I can't give you any information right now.
Public's got a right to know.
Confidentially, off the record now. There are a lot of interesting leads coming up, and this is going to be a very important case.
Sergeant! Leads? What leads? This is Edgar Allan, a screenwriter. He lives here. You're going to be hearing a lot about him real soon. Edgar knew both the victims.
I don't know anything.
Leave me alone! Come on, fellas. Come on.
We've been waiting for you.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Look, Edgar. The type's the same.
That doesn't mean anything. There are thousands of typewriters in Hollywood.
Maybe so, but the waitress at the bus stop described you to a T. Right down to your coat and your gloves.
And your freaky little eyes.
What do you say to that?
Do you have a search warrant? Then get out.
What happened to your hand?
I burn it.
Did you burn it when you were killing Lot? This is going to be the first case I've solved since '68, the La Brea Tar Pit murders. And they were gruesome.
That's great, Joe. But listen, this one's going to be even bigger. Check out the reporters. Front page. Come on, let's take them in now.
You gotta cool off. We don't have enough evidence to drag this jerk in.
May I speak to you privately?
What about?
Edgar Allan, The Welcome Apartment Murders, and your future as a TV star.
Okay, Kleindorf. I'm listening. Make it good.
Okay. You go home. You have a couple of drinks. You go to a movie. You get a good night's sleep. I go see Edgar Allan.
This scene with Kleindorf and Blatz plays well,
I get the telephone.
because it took 14 takes to get it right. These guys just could not remember their lines to save their lives. During the shooting of the scene, I was so frustrated, I literally crumpled in the corner of the set, my face in my hands, in a depressive mania, much to the amusement of the rest of the crew.
Your face on the cover of a newspaper, news magazine, and TV screen in the nation? God, don't you see, Blatz? This opportunity is just too bizarre to pass up. The public has the murders, and we have the script. So we can make the movie. And you get to play yourself. It's all part of the package. The publicity surrounding the picture makes it a runaway success. The television networks want to cash in. We got a television series. It's a natural. Blatz. You become a household word. You make thousands a week. You shoot 13 episodes a year. And you spend the rest of the year in Hawaii. But if you'd rather get a search warrant,
I'll be here at 8 o'clock sharp tomorrow morning. And you'd better have that script. Because if you don't, if you're playing some kind of game with me, I'm gonna book you on withholding evidence. And if I can manage it, conspiracy to commit murder, too.
don't worry about it, Sergeant. Don't worry.
Who's there?
Martin, we're ready to do.
Oh, just a minute.
good to keep the door locked.
During casting for the film, I phoned up George Kuchar in San Francisco and asked him if he'd like to play Martin, the villain. George, as you might know, is a star of the 60s underground filmmaking scene. I first saw him when he guest lectured at the Boston Film Video Foundation, where he showed his amazing, hilarious, and pathetic masterwork, Hold Me While I'm Naked. I wrote George later to tell him how much I loved his work, and later when I visited him in San Francisco, I showed my short movies to him and his students at the San Francisco Art Institute, and we became friends. So when I asked him to act in Screamplay, I guess he accepted because he trusted me.
I think you better go now.
Who knew he was going to break his ankle on my set?
I said, I love you. I want you to marry me. I can make you happy. I'll take you away. Sell this garbage heap. I'll buy you a place in the country. A nice little house with a picket fence. You'd like that, wouldn't you? Backyard. Room for a dog. And our kids. Room for them to grow. Oh, with lots of fresh air. I'll get him a pony. Why you always want to hurt me?
Stop it, Martin, please. I won't. I can't marry you.
Why not?
Because I don't love you.
You don't?
If I married you, we'd both be miserable forever. You're ready to give it up. I'm just starting. I've got to stay here to pursue my career, no matter what. The house in the country, the picket fence, the kids, they're all beautiful, beautiful thoughts. But they're yours, not mine. You're a beautiful person, Martin. I mean that, and I'm sorry.
It's Edgar, isn't it? He's made you not love me. He's changing you. You don't even smile at me anymore.
Martin!
You're getting to be just like the rest of them!
I didn't have the courage to break the mirror in this scene, so Flip did it.
Edgar, you're beautiful. I love ya. Our little plan is running very smoothly. Very smoothly indeed.
Our little plan?
It's okay, Edgar. Nobody knows but you and me.
Nobody knows what?
That you killed Lot. Just as we agreed.
You're right. I did kill Lot. Word for word. Just like you told me to, Kleindorf. Just like you said.
Let's keep this between the two of us. Here, sit down.
What now? What next?
Now we're ready to make our move.
Oh, we're gonna be rich, aren't we, Kleindorf? Rich and famous, both of us!
Yes, calm down, sit down.
I want a house. I want a car. I want a pool. I want a sauna.
You'll have them all. Anything at all. But first, you have to give me your script.
My script?
Oh, Edgar, stop this asinine game. Give me your script now. What's the matter? Haven't you finished it yet?
Yes. Yes. That's it. I haven't finished it yet.
I hope it'll be ready by tomorrow morning.
I hope so.
It better be.
Yes, I think so.
Good. Come by my place tomorrow morning. I'll cook us breakfast. Bring your script. We'll discuss our plans for the future.
It might be finished sooner than that. Will you be home all evening?
Waiting with bated breath.
Good. Good. Very good. Kleindorf?
During the 6 years between writing and making Screamplay, after graduating from the Boston School of the Museum of Fine Arts, inspired by the Gestalt film teachings of montage specialist Slavko Vorkovich, I caught his lectures during my brief stint at the AFI just before he died, I started a filmmaking group with Dennis Piana called the Boston Black and White Movie Company. We wrote, directed, processed, printed, and showed our own short, silent 16mm black and white films, along with live music accompaniment around Boston. Animator Flip Johnson was in the group, filmmaker Ed Callahan, artist Cheryl Hirschman, and the music was composed and performed by Berklee School of Music musicians George Cordero and Basil Bova. You'll not only see all of these people in the movie, but they all contributed their considerable talents to the making of Screamplay. After my short films won some awards and grants, I decided I was ready for the big time, and in 1980 I threw a big going-away party for myself in Boston and returned to Hollywood to seek fame and fortune. But after 2 years of suffering in LA, I realized that my style of movie making wasn't going to find me a directing job there, so I decided to return to Boston and make my own damn movie. I wasn't nuts about the Screenplay script Ed Greenberg and I had written, but it was the only script I had in hand. So, as soon as I got back to Boston, I hammered together 3 walls, 2 with windows, 1 with a door, built a set of stairs leading nowhere, perhaps a precursor of what was to come, and then I photographed these set pieces from different angles and used the photos to create a 4-foot square matte painting of the courtyard of the Welcome Apartments. Then I went out and dragged in all my old friends and filmmaking buddies and said, "Look, this is all we need to make this movie. Are you in?" And I dragged everyone back into working with me again. I was driven. I was so pissed off and frustrated with Hollywood that I was determined to make this movie, to build the sets for it, to make the matte paintings, even to act in it, to show them all. I even convinced myself that the movie could be made in black and white in the style of my silent films. Oh boy.
So where's the press? It's all the newsmen. Joe, this Kleindorf is...
Open up, Kleindorf. Open up, you sniveling bag of shit. Come on, it's the cops.
Knock it off. He's not home.
How do you know he's not home?
Because I was in here at 6 o'clock this morning.
What the hell were you doing here at 6 o'clock in the morning?
Talking to Edgar Allan. I caught him snooping around in the kitchen.
You got a set of keys. What's you? 6 o'clock in the morning, huh?
Yeah. He tried to tell me he was here to fix the garbage disposal.
Kleindorf ever complain about his garbage disposal?
Never.
Where's the switch for this thing? Tony, hand me a piece of garbage, will you?
Even blink.
Go ahead! Do me a favor! I have that search warrant, just like you asked. Take him away. I'll take him from here.
Welcome Apartments.
Thank God. Let me talk to Edgar Allan.
He's busy.
Test band 7, come in.
Why don't you make it easy on yourself, Edgar? Tell us where it is.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I want to read about Kleindorf's murder.
Read about it in the papers.
Thanks to you, it's not gonna tape.
Leave me alone. I'm innocent. Well, I suppose that, yes, on a certain level, I am guilty, but only of evil thoughts. I never actually killed anyone. Ah!
You're a writer. Come up with an explanation for this.
I cut my hand.
Awful lot of blood for such a small cut.
My blood flows very freely.
I think my performance as Edgar Allan is serviceable at best. I hadn't had any formal acting training. Oh no, that wasn't for me. Typical of my work methods, I learned by doing. Too bad I had to learn on screen at the viewer's expense.
Stay put, Edgar. I don't want you going anyplace for any reason. I'll be in touch. Have a nice day.
Welcome Apartments.
Edgar, is that really you?
Yes.
This is Alwina.
Yes.
Alwina, the agent from In the Pie Shop, remember?
Yes. Why are you calling me?
How's the script?
The script?
The murder movie. Is it bloody?
Bloody? Yes.
Terrific. Here's the deal. Allied wants to buy your movie. Edgar, did you hear me? Allied Pictures wants to buy your script. Maybe.
They want to buy my script?
Yeah, maybe. I got your address. I'll pick you up tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Have the script.
But I don't.
What's wrong? It's finished, isn't it?
No, it's not. I don't know who the killer is yet.
Well, you better find out darn quick.
Yes, I'd better. Don't worry, Mr. Wiener. I'll have my script finished by tomorrow morning. I'll find out who the killer is. Even if it kills me.
Edgar, you all right? What's up?
Interior. The writer's study. Night. Alone in his study, the innocent young screenwriter types demonically at his desk. Without a sound, the killer enters.
It would have been difficult to do a split-screen shot showing Edgar on the left strangling himself on the right because it would have been hard to synchronize the movement, so we settled on front projection. First I was filmed in the black outfit, looking like I was strangling someone. Then we front projected that footage behind me sitting at the desk in the white outfit. Somebody, maybe Cheryl or Catherine, was crouched behind me out of sight wearing black gloves and strangling me.
His windpipe crushed, the innocent young screenwriter dies.
Repeat the last name, middle of the name.
The two policemen in this scene are played by our animator, Flip Johnson, and our assistant, Ted Braun. Ted's the bigger of the two, and when George Kuchar broke his ankle on the set, Ted stunt doubled for him in the big fight scene.
Got nothing to talk about.
It's important.
What could be important? Get your hand off the knob.
No, please. No, Martin.
Look, get out of my way. I gotta fix the goddamn fan.
Martin!
Leave me alone. You don't love me. You love Edgar.
No, I love you.
Stop it. You're playing games with me. You think I'm an idiot.
No, I think you're the biggest, strongest, sexiest man I ever met.
But what about...
Edgar? He's a murderer. I need you to protect me from him.
I will, Holly. I love you. I always have.
I know. Let's go to my apartment. We'll make love.
No. I need you now. Let's do it here. Hey, take it easy on my mouth. Ow! What are you doing?
I'm gonna take you to the depths, Martin. Deeper than you've ever been before.
I don't want to go to the depths. I want to make love to you.
Love, hate, they're all the same to me.
What has he done to you?
I've had it, Flaherty. We've been waiting here 5 hours on the damn blood check. What are they doing down there? I have murders to solve.
You and everybody else down at homicide. Now pipe down and wait your turn.
As a director of actors, I don't think I was so good. I certainly failed in my casting of the lesser parts. In fact, I didn't even cast those parts. I think I asked someone else to. Big mistake. Maybe I was just too busy setting up front projection shots, printing rushes, directing, acting, whatever, but that's no excuse because once the movie's made, you gotta live with what's on screen. And I cringe whenever I see that Irish cop and that police scientist with that terrible accent.
A small amount of encrusted blood on the bandage is type O. The victim's blood is type A. But a greater part of the blood, which was mixed with water and banana fibers, matches that of the victim exactly.
That cinches it. Let's go.
Okay, George's accident. I called action. George came through the door and walked toward me. I jumped up to attack him with a rubber hammer, but before I did, he slipped on a garden hose, one of the props on the floor, and simply fell down. It didn't look like much of an accident. Dennis stopped the camera and everybody ran over to George. His face was white and he was twitching a little. I think I broke my ankle, he said, and he had. We put him in the wheelchair and took him to the hospital. His ankle was broken in 3 places to the tune of $11,000. That's why Ted Braun, our assistant who played one of the 2 policemen, stunt doubled for George in the fight scene. And that's why George, throughout a number of scenes in this movie, is only shown from the waist up. Because when he returned to the set 3 weeks later, he was wearing a cast. We had been scared that he was going to quit on us after the accident, but he didn't. We had to hold him up for some shots, but he pulled it off with great panache. What a trooper.
Interior, the writer's study, night. Alone in his study, the innocent young screenwriter types demonically at his desk. A pair of hands close tightly on his throat. Helpless in the killer's grasp, the screenwriter is pulled away from his desk. His windpipe crushed. The innocent young screenwriter dies! He dies! He dies!
turn her into an animal with this. I'm gonna kill you.
If you can't afford real guns with blanks, which we couldn't, you edit in white frames for the blasts. You don't break through walls that cleanly even by accident. We pre-scored the body outline so George would make a clean break. I was going for something that would call to mind one of those children's cartoons where a character goes through a wall so fast that they leave a perfect outline around themselves.
Look, Edgar. It was me. I wanted it to be a surprise. I wanted to show you what a great actress I could be. And I am a great actress, aren't I? Tell me.
Yes, Holly. You are great.
And I'll be great in Nikki's movie, won't I?
Yes, Holly. Yes.
Kiss me, Edgar. You're a great screenwriter. Preparing for this role was so difficult, but acting in your movie taught me so much. You were right. I was limited. But now I'm ready to play anything. I can play any role. It was hard work, but we did it. We sunk to the depths together.
Let's go, kid. Can't keep the big shots waiting. You got the script? I said make it bloody, but this is ridiculous.
No.
Hey, hey, hey! Edgar, hop in. The meeting will be late.
I'm not going to the meeting.
You're not? Where you going?
To the bus terminal. I'm going home.
You know what you're doing? You're being self-destructive. You're leaving just when things are starting to break for you. Now get in the car. You sell this script. You write another one. Maybe even get to direct it. Edgar, you got a future. Don't walk out on it.
I've heard it all before.
But this time, it's real. We're gonna meet a big executive at Allied Pictures, Edgar. The man is my brother. He wants to do me a favor. He owes me one. The picture's as good as sold. $100 grand.
$100,000?
Well, $90,000. I take my 10%. You'll never get another chance like this. You gotta believe me. Now, please, Edgar, please, get in the car.
Let's go.
Jesus, what happened to you?
Somebody tried to kill me.
Now, who would want to kill a talented kid like you?
Hollywood.
That's why we named her Holly. And this is the only shot of the movie that was actually filmed in Hollywood. It took the better part of a year to edit the movie, which I did in my loft on an upright moviola. We premiered it at the Independent Feature Project in New York the same year the Coen brothers premiered their first feature, Blood Simple. New Line Cinema offered us a distribution deal, but they wanted to distribute the film in 16mm, and we wanted it blown up and distributed in 35mm, so we held out. We then went and put it in the Boston Film Festival in the hope of garnishing rave newspaper reviews and thus enhancing our position with New Line. We thought it was a risk well worth taking. I'd always been a fan of Boston Globe reviewer Michael Blowen. He seemed to have an appreciation for clever, low-budget spatter movies. So I looked forward to what he could write about Screenplay. We'd been told that reviewers put favorable reviews in the Friday paper and unfavorable reviews in Saturday. When Blowen's review didn't appear in the Friday paper, we were a little worried. But when Saturday's paper hit the stands, our worst fears were confirmed. Blowen's review of Screenplay was short and dismissive, and perhaps a tad cruel. One of his sentences is now permanently branded into my brain. While it is customary for reviewers to bend over backwards to support independent filmmakers, he wrote, in this case, that contortion is impossible. Years later, when Blowen gave up movie reviewing, he wrote one last article in the Globe telling how he had once been a young filmmaker who had had the privilege of showing his movie to director Otto Preminger. Preminger told him he had no talent and advised him to give up filmmaking. Maybe Blowen was taking it out on me. On the other hand, another newspaper reviewer who had sat next to him during the screening told me that Blowen, who had partied heavily the night before, had actually fallen asleep during the movie. Anyway, after that review, New Line dropped us like a hot potato. Nonetheless, Screamplay was invited to some international film festivals where it drew repeat midnight crowds, and it ended up being distributed by those wacky guys, Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Hertz at Troma, who, to their credit, did blow the film up to 35mm. After Screamplay, I had plenty of time to review my 20 years of filmmaking and think about whether I wanted to pursue my career as a movie maker. I finally opted against it.